Well, hello there, stamping friends. This is Traci Raether from Plum Crazy Stamping, and it's Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. and time for our card making lesson for the week. So today is August 12th, 2026, and I am so excited. We've been having so much fun as we've been launching the Plum Crazy Stamping Countdown to Christmas. So for those of you that have joined along, it's been great. There's almost 100 of you registered as a part of this great program for the next 5 months. And I hope to have a few more join us while we still have open registration through the end of the month. But let's go ahead. I'm going to flip the camera down, show you a few things about that countdown to Christmas before we do our card making lesson today with the product of the month from last month called Begonia Bell. And we're going to do some two-step stamping and see what we can create with different color combinations using the stamps that are designed for this two-step process. Anyway, let me go ahead, put the camera down here. There we go. Kind of move my mouse out of the way. I'm using a different computer, so I think you probably have a different view. And now I have a mouse I can use with it because there's more ports on my computer. Anyway, so with progress comes good things. And hi, Kim. Hi, Sue. Just a reminder, if you're just joining us, please sign in. Let me know your name and where you're watching from. I'd love to know who's here. And in the comments, if you have any questions or feedback on the project that I'm doing, please put it in there. And if you're watching on YouTube, just make sure you're in your Google or YouTube account, and you can use the comments there as well. All right, so the countdown to Christmas, what's this all about? It's about starting early. It's to create early, craft happily, and enjoy December. I don't know about you, but it seems like I have all the time in the world to make my Christmas cards, to make some Christmas gifts and gift tags and special projects for the people that I want to gift. And what happens most years is I run out of time. So this year I decided to hopefully collaborate with you, go through a process where we have a goal of starting early, making a few cards at a time, actually getting into making some gifts early on, and actually getting our gift tags and wrap done in November so that when Christmas comes, we can just put the finishing touches on things and maybe even do something that we didn't know we'd have time for and actually enjoy the holiday season. So, as I said, there is going to be ongoing information that you can join the countdown to Christmas. If you can't find a sign up, don't hesitate to just email me at Traci, Traci, at plumcrazystamping.com, and I'll get you in the mix. So one of the things that I'm giving to people free as a part of this, trying to help people get started, is a holiday crafting planner that I've created to help inspire you and get you going. Also hope to get you a way to keep track of how you're doing on your Christmas cards. So, what is your reason for wanting to start early? I did put out a survey, and so many of you said getting started, finding ideas, and actually getting things done because you run out of time are the biggest issues you have with your holiday crafting. So we're going to ask what kind of things are important to you. What are your top priorities? We're going to give you a list to get started planning for who you want to send Christmas cards to. Think about the gifts you want to make this year. And most importantly, I encouraged you in July, and if you haven't done it, you still have time, shop your stash. Get those items that you already own. Some you may have used and love. Other things are things that you haven't used yet. Let's identify what they are and let's get them out of that closet, right? And then, based on what you find in your stash, plan some projects and find out what you still need to get them done, what would be nice to get them done, and what are those things on your wish list, either for this year or in the future. And then there's a challenge. Use something in your stash. Get a card completed. One of the things with the countdown to Christmas is we are going to have a special Facebook group to share those cards and to help inspire one another. And then the overall look at what we're trying to accomplish with this program is we want to start getting that stack of Christmas cards done early. We want to keep growing it all during September. We want to get handmade giving become a reality in October, and we want to finish strong and really be ready to put those things under the tree when we put it up for the year, and more than ever, enjoy and celebrate the holiday with our family and friends. And then we're going to have this tracker to keep track. So when I first asked, a lot of you said anywhere from 30 to 60 cards is your usual Christmas card list. So I've provided a tracker for you to keep track week to week. I need to fill this in and to let you know how I'm doing, but you know what? Just planning for this and doing this with you has already got me going. So I'm really grateful for that. Anyway, you sign up, you get this for free. Okay, and then the next thing is to motivate you and to get started and to address that I need ideas and I need inspiration. I just put an email out yesterday launching this Sketch and Create pack. And I've decided to do it at a very good price for $9.95. And it has 12 sketch ideas in here to make your Christmas cards. It also has 4 completed cards in here to show you how you can use sketches to help inspire you. So just one example is a sketch is usually a black, white, or, has a few colors here just to help you see some things that you can do differently in a card design. And then an example where there is a tutorial, and that's just for the 4 cards, because the big thing about sketches is inspiring you to make your own card designs. And as you go through these card designs, we'll also be doing a little challenge to share these with others. And once again, another planning sheet to help you to plan your own sketches. And then keep track. Did you try all 12 of those designs? And how much fun this is to do with friends. And are you growing your stack of Christmas cards? So that is also out there and available to you. And you'll be able to find that in different places on my blog and social media sites. But also don't hesitate to reach out to me. So Kim and Sue, it was already, I said hello to you. Tamlin, nice to see you. Hi, Kathy. And the second Kathy. So glad you're here. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and get started with, I just want to tell you, I did a kickoff event and I've put that video out for you. It tells you a little more about the Christmas countdown, and we also did a demonstration of using non-Christmas DSP to get you started. And if you watch that video, you will see the step-by-step lesson that I did, and there's some techniques within that lesson of masking and paper piecing that I used to make this example card. So some ways to help you. And I don't know if you can hear, but my little bulldog is behind me, and now all of a sudden she wants some attention. So we'll see if I can get her to just wait. Hold on one second. Lila, Mama can't go right now. So I'm going to move the door here and we'll go out in a little while, okay? Just wait for Mama. Thank you. All right, I'm hoping she'll be okay until we finish here. She was sleeping when I tried to take her out before. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with our card making project right now. So, all right, so this was the product of the month last month. And if you bought $75 worth of Stampin' Up! Product, you were able to get this for $5. What a great stamp set for $5. So for those of you that have this, I'll give you an example of how to use it, plus a few techniques in what we're going to do today. And you know, I'm all about Christmas, so I decided to do another shade of red I haven't used yet this season, and this is Cherry Cobbler. And this is just the regular half sheet of 8.5 by 11. So it's 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. This will fit in our regular A2 envelopes. Regular postage will work. All right. Then I thought, what do I want to do on my card front? Do I want to stay with a, just leave it plain? Do I want to pop up a secondary layer in the same color? Or what about using a little vellum? Those looked a little plain, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to dig into my embossing folders. And so I did each of those as a 4 by 5 1/4 front card front panel. So if we did this, which is called tone on tone here, then you can see there's an additional ridge and it just kind of fancies up your card a bit. Or using the vellum. Now this is using one of our larger embossing folders that came out this year, and it is called Forever Plaid. I really like this. So you could just put vellum on the front, or you could use a combination of them. And then I thought, using a combination, even like doing half and half, is kind of plain. So I decided to make this a little interesting. I'm going to actually rip the vellum. Thought I'd kind of go at a little bit of an angle here and just rip this down so that it just adds some interest. And you know what? I have the other half to do on another card. And I'm just going to put this right up to the edge of this. Now, when I put vellum down, one of the ways you can do this without seeing the adhesive through the vellum is to take a little sponge with your multi-purpose glue. Or I like to use the little mini glue dots I have left over from my paper pumpkin, because I can't see those through there either. And you can also choose to hide your adhesive where you'll put your focal images to get this done. I'm going to just set my card base aside. Let's go ahead and put a few of these mini glue dots on here. And okay. I still have a little English bulldog talking to me outside the front, my craft room door here. She is not happy with me. Oops. Just taking these little adhesive coverings off of here. So don't forget what a great accent vellum can be on your projects. I sometimes go in streaks using it because I forget about it. I'm going to line it up here. Okay, and right there. So that's going to add a little bit to my card front. And then you know what? I'm going to actually pop this tone on tone up. It'll make it more visible. So I'm just going to put dimensionals behind it here. And this is a way to, just add a little something extra when you're making, especially Christmas cards. I just think they're always kind of special. And I like to try to think of ways that I can just step it up a little bit. All right. There we go. So I'm just going to center that on the front of my card base here. Okay, so we've got that. Then let's go ahead and look at what two-step stamping can do. Now, if you have experience with this, awesome. If you don't, I like to share this. And maybe what I'm doing is just reminding you a little bit about how you can use these and what can be done to help you line these up. So one of the things with two-step stamping, at least these are photopolymer stamps. So we're going to use our pierce mat as we're doing our stamping to get the best image possible. Also, I'm going to be doing some stamping off as one of the ways that I can do something with the color when I'm two-step stamping. But also, it just gets a better image. So just remember that. And then, if you can see, these blocks have a dot on them. Now, I have these 4 that I use pretty regularly, and the dot helps me to line these up so that when I'm stamping, it helps me to remember the dots are on the top or off to the same side. And then that helps me to line up the stamps, because obviously I want to keep them in alignment. So that's just a tip to help you when you do this. And sometimes when I'm putting these on the blocks, I actually put the stamp on top of this block. Then I'll put the other block on top of it to pick it up, but know that they do stick a little bit, but that does help. Okay, so we'll just set the leaves off. We're going to do that as our second part of this. And then I needed to figure out, when you look at these 2 images, you can tell one is looks more like the outline, and then one looks like the images will go inside the outline. Okay, so I'm deciding that with the outline one, which has this larger empty space, which I can see right here on this stamp, that's the one that I want to be my darker stamped image. And then I have the other one where I can see this is going to be colored in. It's right here, so that I know what is going to be my secondary color. Now, I thought, so cherry cobbler, I'm going to stick with cherry cobbler because that's my base and that's going to be my darker color. But then I thought, now one of the things I can do is 2-step stamping, which I'll show you in the end. But I also wanted to find some complementary colors. And I went back. Now, Moody Mauve is still a current color, but Rococo Rose is a retired color. But I did like these 2 tones with my cherry cobbler. So I play, right? You experiment with things. So let's look at this. Let's check out our cherry cobbler. And I am going to move this down just a little bit so that I've got some room if I decide to stamp something off. And remember, I'm using the outline stamp that has the larger area that is going to be clear space. I'm going to just tap this in my cherry cobbler ink. Okay, and press this down. Ooh, that didn't go so well. Good thing is this is photopolymer and I can do it again. Oh, and actually, I don't think I inked it up very well. Great thing. Let's turn the cardstock over. Okay, and we'll do that again. Thank goodness I have the Pierce mat under here. All right, and press that all around. Okay, so I have the initial outline image. And now I better move my leaves out of the way here for a minute. Let's go ahead and use Moody Mauve first for our secondary image. Now, because this is lighter, I had re-inked a bunch of stamps, and I'll tell you what, I got a lot of ink in these. Now, I fixed the greens we're going to be using, but I'll tell you, some of these other colors, I didn't do anything with it. But what I did do is I'm going to stamp that off, and then I'm going to line up these open images, and I'm just going to press this in place. And I have made it, one generation lighter by stamping it off. But you can see how that looks with the two-tone, showing some of the white behind, okay? Let's just do this full on to give you a comparison. So let's go back with this outline stamp in Cherry Cobbler. And if this goes off the side of the paper a little bit, I'm not going to worry about it because I'm just showing you the color. Okay, so we have our Cherry Cobbler. Now let's go back and do Moody Mauve. Full strength, knowing that this is a very saturated ink pad. And line this up into those more open areas of the first stamp that we did. Now you can see how dark this is. I really need to take my spoon and or a plastic knife and move that around to get some of that ink off of here. You know what? Why don't I just show that to you, because this is not the way I want it to look, and maybe you've never seen this before. So I'm going to get a Kleenex here, and I'm going to take this stamp pad. And what I'm going to do, you can also use a credit card for this. I am just going to literally wipe ink off the top of the pad and wipe that off of here. And let me go the other direction here. I think I got a little wild with my re-inker because you can tell that there's ink sitting right on top here. So we'll do that. And then I'm just going to actually go over this a couple times and try to move some of the ink down further into the pad and not have it sitting on top, and hope then it won't be so wet. And like I said, you can use a knife like this or the plastic spoon. Okay, now let's see if we can't get a better image. Okay, so there's our red. Now we'll go back to Moody Mauve. Well, it's better, but it is not perfect. But let's see how this one looks with some of that color moved around. Well, it is better. This one was just kind of, you could tell, very watery. At least this time you can see some of that distinctive image. So it's gotten better. I might have to do it one more time. But anyway, so you can stamp off and make it very light. You can use the full color. Let's go ahead and try Rococo Rose and see how you like that color. I'm going to have to wash the second stamp here. And just dry it off a little bit. All right, let's check out this combination. Okay. And here we go with Rococo Rose. Looking where my brown little dot is on my stamp really helps. Okay. So now you can see that color combination. So I don't know if you have a favorite. You know, we had the stamped off, you know, much lighter Moody Mauve. Then we've got Moody Mauve Full Strength with the Cherry Cobbler. And then this one is Rococo Rose. And then the last one, you know, why don't I just do it on the paper here for you? Got to wash this off again quick. Is let's just do tone on tone and see what we think about all Cherry Cobbler, but with it stamped off. All right. But you know what I did? I think I washed the one with Cherry Cobbler off. Okay, yeah. So let's do Full Strength. And actually, I am going to use another piece of our Whisper White so I can actually use it right on the card here. Okay. Boy, I didn't do good on that one either. It doesn't pay to be in a hurry. All right, and let's do a second one here. I don't know about you. I really love flowers like this. Now, over the years, Stampin' Up! Has had a lot of different flower stamps like this. And I always then, you know, really enjoy them. I forget about them for a while, though, until another one comes out. Okay, let's actually stamp this off. And then line this up. Ooh, and I missed a little bit, but you know what? Sometimes I like the extra white it puts in there. Let's try another one here. And now that's using the same color, only stamping it off. And I think that's really pretty too. Do you have a favorite way to do it? Or, you know, which color combination do you use or would you use? Or do you think there's another Stampin' Up! Color I could have, you know, used for this? Now, this stamp set doesn't have a die set, so I am just going to fussy cut this for the front of my card because I need to do that because I didn't want to try to stamp, you know, half on that red and half on the vellum. That's not going to work. So I needed to do it on, this is just basic white. Remember, fussy cutting, you move the paper, not your scissors, to get the smoothest cut line possible. Okay, so we've got one of our roses here. I like these larger flowers because when you're making a card front, they really fill up the space and, no doubt become a beautiful focal image. Okay, so we've got our 2 roses. Now let's go ahead and make the leaves here. And I'm going to use Garden Green. And I'm going to take a look at these and try to figure out which one needs to be the outline and which one needs more filling in. So the more subtle background, how you tell is that there's more surface area up here on the top. When you're trying to figure out the outline one, you can see there's less surface area and more of these defined lines. And then kind of I test myself to see if I've guessed right. I'm going to use Garden Green here for this one. And let's see. I'm going to try to, I think this one is my background. And I'm going to stamp this off first and then put it on here to be my background color. Do that again, stamp it off, be my background color. And then we'll take full strength and then line up, where my dots were. Also, the point of the leaf and the side helps me to figure that out. And I've got the leaf outline. You can tell I was re-inking for Christmas. My Christmas colors are quite dark. All right, and there is the second leaf. Set this off to the side here. And just do, I would just fussy cut these out, but in preparation for today, I did actually 3 of them. So we've got those all ready to go. All right, so let's go back to how we want to put together our card. So I'm thinking that I'd like to put 2 of these on here. And I'm going to make this the odd number. Remember, that always seems to be, from a creativity perspective, odd numbers help draw your eye a little more. And so I'm going to do, have 5 items here. All right. And I'll be doing, to adhere this and add interest. Some of them I'm going to pop up and some I'm going to glue directly down. And then this has really nice sentiments. Best wishes. You are my sunshine. Thank you for everything you do. Sending lots of happiness your way. Plus there's smaller roses you could put inside, or begonias. Begonias. And some, that special kind of stamp that many times we get in our sets from Stampin' Up! To add some texture. But you guys know I'm trying to add to my number of Christmas cards. So I grabbed one of the new sets that's coming out in our September to December catalog. This is called Noel Tidings, and I love this Merry Christmas. It's really bold and I like the font. So I decided to do that, and I wanted something that would pop off here a little bit. So I took let's see, this was from Stitched Shape Framelits. There's another die set that's available in the catalog that looks much like that. That was from back in the day, but I decided to stamp on the lower part of this because I wanted to be able to, kind of get this in place and have that show up. So there is a Christmas card, right? All ready to go. And I will be gluing that all together after we're done today. Let's see. So another one of my Christmas cards. I know I have over 20 ready to go. The other thing that I could do is I was looking at, I had an older Christmas ribbon. Now, if you missed the session where I shared this, these ponytail holders are a perfect way to hold your ribbon in place. It goes so easy and goes right over there and holds your ribbon from being loose like this all over your stuff. So that's another tip. But anyway, you could use this kind of ribbon, just make a knot, or this is new polyester. Oh, what are they calling this? Is it twine? Is it baker's twine? Multicolor Christmas baker's twine. And it's in cherry cobbler, peaceful pine, and white. Isn't this pretty? So this I would make just a little bow and put on here. I think this is the one that I'll use. So let's open this up quick. And I think peaceful pine is going to be a big color this Christmas, along with, the other ones we have. Now to find the end. Ha, there it is. All right, so let's just make a little bow. This twine works so well. And I love this together. It's very substantial. Okay, let's just cut this off. Cut this off. I think I like that right there. So there is a Christmas card with something that is not necessarily Christmas. But when you use plaid, it kind of speaks Christmas. When you say Merry Christmas, and I chose the colors to help make this a Christmas card, but out of a non-Christmas stamp set. So look at your stash, and maybe this will give you new eyes to check it out and find things that you have so you can use your stash to start making your Christmas cards. Anyway, let's go ahead, and I just want to say thanks so much for joining me today for this card making lesson. I hope you seriously consider joining our countdown to Christmas and have your Christmas be less stressful, because we're going to do it a little at a time. So any questions, or if there's anything I can do to help you with your paper crafting needs, you can reach me at Traci, Traci, at plumcrazystamping.com. Thank you, friends. I want to let you know next week I'll be on vacation, but I will have a pre-recorded video for you on Wednesday. Anyway, take care, and I can't wait until we stamp together again. Bye-bye now.